the way that this campaign opened was all of you were kind of like adventurers, kind of starting out on that life, and you took a mission to help escort a shopkeeper who was traveling goods to a town, taking goods to a town. You kind of basically some mercenaries in charge of protection for this. And you had your goblin raids you had to push back on and everything, but for the most part, it was a pretty easy run. And so on the way back, after you had each received 50 gold pieces, which you can add to your inventory if you haven't done so, you all have 50 gold pieces from it. Um, Except for Dead Guy. Dead Guy, you came in a little different. So, so
Okay.
the main core of the party were on their way back, celebrating a job well done, when they decided to stop in the night at a little roadside inn. During the night, it became thunderstorms and lightning, and the door opened up, slammed open from the wind, and in marched this man wearing kind of like gypsy-looking clothing, very long hair, a nice trimmed beard. Came in and looked at the room over and then made a beeline straight for you. He presented you with a an addressed letter and told you that his master had asked that you all come to Barovia the next morning. And he said everything would be explained in the letter, and then he left without saying another word. He did drop some coins down on the bar so that it paid for your room and your drinks for the evening, and then he left. The thing you noticed about the addressed letter is it has your names on it, but it had your full names, and not even your guys in your group knew all of your full names. You kind of had names for each other, but none of you had full names for each other on that. So it was very peculiar. You opened it up, and inside it gave an address from a burgomaster of the village of Barovia. Burgomaster is essentially a mayor, and he was inviting you to come and help him save his daughter, or his beloved Arena, from a vampire, the clutches of a vampire. And so he invited you to come help save her, and was promising you riches. And so you guys decided to go down and follow this road that everybody knew about that area. This road actually was supposed to go in the forest, and it just didn't go anywhere. Like, it would died in the forest. It used to go somewhere, but they had heard that country had died out, or that little land had died out centuries ago. No one had seen anything activity from that area, and so when you went in, you expected the road to die. It might even be a trap, but after a while, the road became it was first kind of overgrown as you're going in, and then when you got further in, it started opening up like somebody had been traveling the road. The forest became darker. The mists of the forest kind of got a little bit more and more intense as you got further in, and eventually you came to a big wooden gate built into stones that were some 50 to 100 feet tall. This big gate showing that the entrance to a land. And as you come close to that door, it opened, and with no signs of anyone there guarding it or opening it, it opened on its own. And as you passed through, it closed on its own, kind of sealing you in to this new place that you were entering. And what you notice right away is that the entire atmosphere of the place had changed. Where it had just been summer, now it felt like it was on the eve of winter. Just starting to from that fall transition into winter. A biting, chilling air was everywhere. The leaves of the trees seemed perpetually to be starting to die. You didn't see any kind of wildlife or anything. Everything just seemed very ominous and just all out wrong. As you started to make your way in, you found a dead body alongside the road, and you found on it another note that you pulled free of its grasp of its hands. You figured out that it was a young man who was a messenger. He was attempting to deliver a message. And you opened the note. It was in different handwriting, but it had a very similar tale to the previous note, except in this one from the burgomaster, it was telling you that uh, this Irina was not his beloved, but his daughter, and the burgomaster was begging you not to come into this land, to instead, mark off all the entrances to the land with holy symbols and keep the evil inside from getting out. And so now you have these two competing versions of this that you have yet to figure out what the meaning is for this. But you came into the land, and when you got out of the forest, you saw a huge open valley between two mountain ranges. A mountain range is on the north, and a mountain range on the south. And you could see ahead of you a small village across a small amount of plains, and behind it, up on a big plateau, was a dark, looming castle, kind of overshadowing that part of the land, just kind of like it was staring down at the village below. When you came up to the village and you came in, you noticed the village itself was very decrepit and kind of falling apart, and nobody was out in the streets or anything. You could see boarded up windows and sometimes a little vision of people peeking out and then disappearing as soon as you looked their direction. As you made it to the first little area inside the village, though, you heard the sound of kids, of a child crying, and a little girl telling him, "It's going to be okay, it's going to be okay." And you approached and found that there were two kids there talking about a monster attacking their mother and father in their house. And so they had brought you to their house and escorted you inside. They themselves stayed outside because they didn't want to go back in the house where the monster was, but you had promised to go in and find out what was going on there. Inside the house, you found a very peaceful looking house for the most part. No signs of a struggle, no signs of a monster. The first two floors were very immaculate. Little strange things about the walls were weird, like you'd look at the wall, and for one moment it might have a panel that looks like it's nice, have nice kids playing, but if you looked deeper at it, you would see that the kids were being chased by bats or wolves or other stuff like that. And so everything seemed to have a very ominous tone to it, even though it was very nice looking on those first two floors. As you transitioned to the third floor, though, everything seemed to change. As you went up the banister, up to the winding stairs, up to the third floor, everything kind of started moving from very clean to being absolutely dusty and dirty and cobwebs, like nobody had lived there in centuries. And the top two floors were both that way. The third floor and the attic, just covered in cobwebs. And that's where you started to really encounter things, like you encountered a living suit of armor that tried to attack you, a ghost woman who was protecting a ghost baby, which you later found out through deduction that the ghost baby was a child of infidelity between the husband and this nursemaid. And then you found a bricked up room up on the top floor in the attic that had, or locked room with a bricked up window that had skeletons in it of kids that also had the very same kind of clothes of the kids that you had met on the outside. And as you entered, their ghosts appeared and let you know that they had been there the whole time, and so the house had probably tricked you by presenting their images and tricked you to come inside. What they described to you was a sort of understanding that this house had cultists in it, and they practiced whatever they were practicing down in the basement. You were able to find a winding staircase that took you down, all the way down the 4 flights, down into the underdark, under the ground, into the crypt area. And down there is where Dead Guy comes onto the scene. Dead Guy had been kind of like resurrected there. He has no memory of where he's from. He's not undead, but he's not living either. He has no recollection of how long he's been there, but he does not. He knows that he's not a bad guy, and so he joined the party and started helping out. You encountered several different things there. Some shadows that were protecting a wooden statue of a very regal-looking person holding an orb. A mimic door that tried to eat the party members, while 2 dwarves shouted at it and tried to bash it away. You found the mother and the father, the ghouls, or ghastly ghouls that were trying to eat you, bursting out of the walls when you touched the treasure of other undead or other dead adventurers who had been pulled into the house. Further down, you would hear occasionally you would hear the sound of chanting, pulling you deeper and deeper, or inviting you deeper and deeper into the house. And eventually you got down to the lowest level, where you found a sacrificial chamber that had a dagger still laying on top of it. And as you approached the sacrificial chamber, these visions of ghosts appeared all around and commanded you to make a sacrificial choice. One must die, they repeated over and over again. Grimness decided that he would attempt a very tricky little maneuver, because they all drew straws, and one of the other cleric, who's not with us at the moment, got the short straw, and so he laid down up on top of the altar, and Grimness slit his throat, but then healed him at the last minute to make sure that he didn't die, used to spare the dying, to see if that trick would work. However, the ghosts were not fooled, and they called forth a shambling mound from a nearby, what you thought was maybe a pile of refuse and wood and kind of like mixture of plant life. It came to life and attacked all of you. Things were not looking good during that fight. That fight was not going well, and at the last minute, you had a little bit of help from an unknown adventurer, a tiefling magician who came in and helped finish off the shambling mound. And then as you left, the building started to seem like it was falling down around you. The doors had changed, creating impasses, and although it was trying to kill you on the way out, smoke from fireplaces was now poisonous gas filling into the rooms. But eventually you kind of ran through the doors, busting your way out onto the streets of this town again, and that's where we will pick up. Also, I forgot to mention, there was a young boy with you that you found there by the name of Jarian, and he was trapped down in the lower levels in a cell area, and you guys were escorting him out as well. And that is where we will pick up. Let me go ahead and stream. So here is the house that you just came out of. I have a different map for the house itself, but you came back out into the area, the land here. I'm using the party token until we need to use you guys' individual characters. It just makes for easier movement. So if you guys decide to split the party, just let me know about that, and I can take them off of here. For this particular map, I'm using the party token.
Will do.
So you guys came busting out the door, landing on the street, panting from the smoke and the poisonous smoke in your lungs. The tiefling sorcerer no longer among your party, and you had deduced that this house seems to be a conduit of a different dimension, that other adventurers can enter it from different areas, and when they exit, they go back to their area that they had entered from. But the house now sits there in front of you. Looks like all the windows are unbricked up. They were bricked up on the way out, but now they look back to normal. It looks like a very unassuming, nice house again.
Is this where they meet me?
Oh, you're with the party. We're just gonna retcon you in. You're already there. The only one that they met new was a dead guy down in the crypts.
Waste of a backstory.
Somebody's sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, you know. All right. So.
Well, that was fun, guys. Now what?
So you kind of pick yourself up and start dusting yourself off. Before you can even answer that question, you hear the sound of a cart. This whole area is very there's no people out there, so the sound of the cart echoes to the streets as you kind of hear it rolling along, and you see a woman, a decrepit old woman, pushing a cart around the corner. Oops, and she fell off the thing. Come on. And she stops at a house very near over here, and you see her knock on the door of the house. Dream pastries, 1 copper piece, please. And you see the door open slightly, and you see her little a little hand kind of reach out, give her a coin, and then she hands them a pastry, and they immediately pull it in and close the door right behind. And she puts the coin in their pocket, and she smiles to herself and pushes it forward onto the next house. Little clank, clank, clank of the wooden cart going forward. Meanwhile, your little friend, the boy, says, "Oh, we're in my home. That's my house right over there." And he points to the house right
God,
across
that's
from you. I
Alright,
didn't even
perfect.
know I got pulled in the death house.
Great, now I gotta search the entire continent to find your house. This is perfect.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Ah, thank God.
So yeah, what seems like convenience, or perhaps fate, or perhaps trickery of the house, seems that the poor boy that was abducted and pulled down there was at this house. While you're doing that, the woman is continuing to push the cart. She pushes it to the side of the road, totally trying to ignore you as she pushes it by. And you see the boy as he runs up the house, knocks on the door, and says, "Mom, it's me! Mom, it's me!" You see the door open quickly, and you see a woman, very scraggly, hasn't eaten in a while, wild hair and eyes, and she looks down, and she grabs up her boy, hugs him real quick, and then sees you and immediately pulls him inside and shuts the door. You can't help but notice. You can't help but notice, though, that the old crone who's pushing the cart is eyeing the boy very suspiciously as she comes up. And she pulls up to the next house and walks up to the door and knocks on the door. "Dream pastries, 1 cup apiece." And you see the door open, and there's a little bit of sound. You can't quite make out what they're saying, and there's a little bit of argument back and forth. And then you see her come back to the cart, pick up a pastry, head back to the door. The door opens up, and you see Jarian get shoved out into her hand as she hands the dream pastry to inside the door. The door closes quickly, and then you see her kind of pulling the boy along, and she stuffs him into the back of a cart where you can't see him, and she continues moving on as though that's totally normal.
Can we intervene before she shoves him into the cart?
You can, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I see this starting to happen, that they hand the boy out the door, I'll start walking over that way, and I'll say, "Oh, well, what exactly is a dream pastry?"
"Oh, these are such exquisite pastries. Do you want one? Just 1 cup apiece?"
Yes, one for me and my friend here. And I point to the boy and put a hand on his shoulder.
"Oh, no sweets for the boy. He's coming to live with me now."
Pardon me.
Is the boy in the cart yet?
No, because he's come up and kind of stopped before it
Okay.
got to that point. He's intervening.
How much can I carry as an Aarakocra?
Normal human amount. I mean, your strength is probably over 10, so...
I mean, can I carry the boy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you
Okay.
can carry the boy. You're a medium-sized creature. He's a, tiny or small, so...
I want to run up and grab the boy away from her and, fly off.
I'm gonna act surprised, but I want to assist in that action, and then as she flies away, I'll be like, darn birds!
So you chase after him, pretending to shoo him away.
Right.
He takes the bird. Right. You see the old crone get visibly enraged by this, and she starts to say something, and then she sees you staring at her, and she comes down. "Well, I guess that's that. Poor boy. Now he won't get any good care." And she turns back to her cart. "Did you want a dream pastry, sir, or were you just trying to do that on some sort of ploy.
No, I would love to try a pastry. Things like that wouldn't happen if people didn't feed them.
If they didn't feed them, like the birds?
Yes, yeah, you're leaving crumbs out, they just fly into town and think they can take whatever they want.
I can assure you, good sir, that there are no birds like that here.
Well, there clearly is now, but how about that pastry?
Yes, you're a good boy. And she takes the pastry and she hands it to you. This one's on me. And then she gets back to her cart and pushes it along and starts going away from you a little faster than an old woman should be able to push a cart that size.
And that grandma's fast. She gotta go.
She's got to meet up with Vin Diesel. The races are tonight.
Yeah, so she turns down this little area here and disappears into an alley instead of continuing on her normal route. What she looked like she was heading down the main street.
I come back with the boy.
Okay, so he is like gonna set him down. He gives you a big hug around the waist. Oh, thank you. I didn't want to go with her, but Mama said I had to.
Where is she going to take you, boy?
To her home. I don't know where that is, but none of my friends came back when they got taken.
Well, let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. So I walk over to the door and bang on it dwarvishly.
I love the adverb.
After a few moments, you see the door open a very little bit, and you see someone kind of looking out. The same person that you saw briefly a moment ago, but this time she's got a bit of kind of pastry like juices around her mouth, and she's got a very far off look in her eye. Yes.
As soon as that door cracks, can I just push it open and walk in?
You sure can.
Well, good afternoon.
Yeah, so you walk in, and the place, there's very little furniture or anything. Everything looks very run down and like no food. It's just a complete hovel inside there. And she steps back away from the door and kind of just is like standing there going, yeah, can I help you with something?
Yes, we found your son. And I pull him
My
inside.
son? And you see her take another bite of the pastry that she's got in one hand. Oh, he's a good boy. Such a good boy.
Why'd you give him up?
Food did you eat?
Yeah, then why did you hand him to that old crone?
Have you had a pastry? And she's like, kind of starts to give you a bite, and then she like realizes she doesn't want to. She comes back and starts nibbling on it again. Very good.
Can I investigate the pastry?
If she's kind of holding on to it pretty heavily and like got it right up to her mouth, just chomping on it.
Can I investigate my friend pastry? How do you say your character's
You sure
name?
can.
Morpheus?
Grimness.
Grimness is the character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I messed them up sometimes. My dyslexia fucks me up. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It happens, bud. No worries. Can I try lesser restoration on the woman?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm just gonna reach over and say, "Well, don't worry, we brought him back for you," and then touch her shoulder, and cast that on her, preferably.
You see her eyes kind of like start to focus again, and she realizes that she's better, and you see, instead of seeing a look of happiness, you just see an absolute look of terror and then suddenly anger, and she's just like, why did you do that? And she just shoves you as hard as she can backwards. Why did you do that?
Do what?
And then you see her start to eat the rest of her pastry again. Maybe there's enough here. Maybe there's enough.
Slap it out of her hand, somebody.
Who's slapping? Who's doing it? She's.
Yeah, I'll do it. Sure, why not? I only have -1 strength.
She
but
pushed
yeah,
me
sure,
away, so I'm assuming I can't.
Well, she
Do
just.
it.
There's not a whole lot of area in there. I mean, you could have easily moved and slapped it out of her hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's let dead guy roll.
Yeah.
All right.
This be strength or
Yeah. Well, athletics. You got to be quick and just like smack it. You know.
athletics. Okay, go to the next screen. Athletics. Where is my? Here it is. 19.
Oh
20
yeah,
minus
so
1.
you before she can start chomping on it, you slap it out of her hands. It goes flying, it hits the wall, breaks into a bunch of pieces, and you see her jump down on the floor and just start grabbing at the pieces as best she can, not even bothering to wipe the dirt off and trying to eat them. It's gotta work. It's gotta work. And she's like trying to eat this on there. She's on her hands and knees, scrambling, oblivious to everything else that's going on around her.
Can I step on the pieces?
Trees are magical
Yeah.
drugs.
Absolutely.
The magical drugs going
yeah.
on.
I want to smash him under my heel and just say, "What's gotta work?"
It's my happy place. Gotta have it back. Gotta have it back. You see her get mad when you stomp on it. She slams her fists on the floor and she starts balling up and starts rocking back and forth, crying. This is not good. Not good.
I take the boy outside because I don't want him to see his mom like this.
Good call.
Yeah.
I will hold up my fully intact pastry and go, I have another one, but you better answer some questions first.
She is all eyes on that pastry, just nodding. Whatever you want. What?
Why is it so important to you?
You obviously haven't eaten one. They're pure joy, pure happiness.
Ah, yes, you mean like the laughter of a child, which you so easily gave up for one of these.
You see her kind of recognize in her own eyes that, and she starts to look away and starts to rock again. I can't help it. I've tried to quit. Everyone's tried to quit. Can't help it. Gotta have it.
The woman with the cart, she makes them.
Yes, she does.
What else do you know about her?
Not a lot. She showed up about a couple months ago and started, offering pastries for a small copper piece. They seemed too good to be true, and next thing you know, everybody's buying them as fast as she can get here, and when people run out of money, she's willing to trade children for them.
And that didn't strike you as odd, at all?
Well, of course it strikes me as odd, but I can't help it. It's all I think about. Every moment, every waking moment, just the pastries.
All right, well, we should help you then. Let's tie her up.
Golden gold turkey, huh?
Yes, this is a new direction.
No, you said I could have the pastry. You can't do this to me.
I didn't say you couldn't have it, but we're going to try something first.
She is struggling against you.
Okay, well, there's three of us. Help me out, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Sure, against my better judgment.
For your own good, madam. Let's go cold turkey.
Yeah, we're going to tie her to a chair.
Tape it. Magical duct tape it. She'll never get out of that.
Alright, so you guys need to roll a strength saving throw. Someone, and you can do it with advantage since since you're getting help. So, or not strength saving throw. Sorry, just a strength check. That'll work too. Strengths. That's good. All right. So,
Well, this is going on. I had 20, 19, and then a 20. What
Dude,
the fuck?
you're the buffest sorcerer on the planet, bro.
I have a
you just-
-1 to strength too.
you're just getting lucky. Just the fact that this kid is getting tossed out over a pastry has just boosted your resolve.
Maybe the dice gods are like, all right, you kept getting ones last session, so I'm gonna help you out a little bit, just for a little bit though.
Well, oh my god, the rolls were so bad last session, dude.
No,
Yeah,
they're
so you're
bad.
able to tie her down. Now, who's using their rope for this?
Oh, we can use my rope. That's fine.
Okay.
I have rope. Don't you come with rope?
With Adventurer's Pack, you should. If you took the Adventurer's Pack. If you took a different pack, you might not have it.
Yeah, so I got 50 feet of the stuff.
Okay, excellent.
Be honest.
All right, so you've got her tied up. She is struggling on the floor, just laying there on the floor, tied up, struggling against the ropes. And after about 30 seconds to a minute, she finally stops kicking and just lays there and starts sobbing.
Mission accomplished. Time to head
Our
out.
work here is done.
Are we all chaotic evil?
Chaotic good.
Okay, there we go.
I hold the pastry out one more time and say, do you happen to know where her house is?
She spits on the ground. No, I don't know where her house is.
No pastry for you then.
Am I able to do a medicine check to see if this is more a drug or a magical type of ailment? Sure.
Absolutely.
So how do
Oh, I
I
didn't
roll
even
that?
think of that.
There we go. Oh, I rolled awesome, a 1. Lovely.
Can I, I've got a +5 to medicine. Can I aid him in the medicine check and he gets advantage?
Yeah, you sure can. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Go ahead and roll again then?
Yep.
Perfect. A little bit better.
Yeah, so I mean, from just kind of studying her, you can see that this is, you're not quite sure if it is medical or if it's like, natural or if it's magical, but it's definitely, it acts a bit like drugs, There's definitely some sort of effect going on here from these pastries that, is going to have a long-term effect on this person. It's going to be, you're not sure if it's something that they can just kick on their own, since if it's magical, it may not be. But yeah, that's all you can really divine from it there by checking her over,
Okay. With that great roll.
So you've tied her up and she's on the floor. She's kind of yelled at you about, asking her about where this house is. What else would you like to do with this poor woman? Are you just going to leave her there tied and leave the kid to watch over her? Or, because
I just thought I could take care of her. Right?
I mean, we can't leave the kid to watch her because if that's his mom, she obviously doesn't give two craps about him.
Yeah.
And she's going to talk him into untying her. So, I don't see that being feasible.
True, but I don't feel like we should waste a whole bunch of time on just one person. Much as I would like to help.
I'd kind of like to ask her if this cart lady comes around at the same time every day, if there's any rhyme or reason to it, or if it's just at her pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, we've got her here. Ask questions, man. Go for it.
She just still look of anger and sadness in her face, and she kind of looks defeated now. No, she doesn't come the same time each day. If she did, I would find a way to, or many of us would have found a way to jump her and take her stuff, but she never shows up when you expect it.
Well, then you want to get any more, you idiot.
Well, I feel too bad just leaving her tied up, in all honesty, despite what she's done to her son.
I don't see much way around it.
I'm not against the group decision, though.
Well, if we untie her, she's just going to sell them again.
What are we going to
stop?
Yeah. Where do we go? Unless we give her a few copper coins to tide her over for a couple of days, as enabling as that is.
Yeah, and you have 50 gold pieces each, so that's a lot of copper that you could potentially help her with.
I can't leave her tied up in good faith. You know, in my chaotic good alignment, I can't leave her as such.
Yeah.
So I'd give her 10 copper and make a vote for letting her free.
What do we do with the boy?
I don't know. I don't think we can rightly bring him along with us.
I don't think we can leave him here either.
So you see a moment of clarity in her eyes, and she looks up and she says, I hate to say this, but I know what's going to happen if you leave the boy with me. I'll be tempted again. There's an orphanage in Vallaki that you could take the boy to.
Apologize for that.
No problem.
How
Weird music.
do I happen to know offhand how far away that is?
You have not. You are strangers to this land.
And how long is the journey?
Not too far. It's just a little ways into the valley, about a day and a half.
Oof.
Jesus.
Oh,
You
man,
just be a good mom.
we're between a rock and a hard place here, guys.
I'm personally leaning towards bringing the boy. You're quite right. We can't leave him here, and we can't take him with us on our journeys.
I mean, hear me out. Third option, I give this pastry to the kid, and then he just is happy forever and doesn't even know he's being sold.
That is a tempting third option.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really struggling with this because I'm chaotic good as well, but you know, I'm a freaking cleric. Like I can't just leave the kid.
Oh yeah, I'm
Maybe
saying
we
we bring him to the orphanage.
Maybe we should just take him to the orphanage. We should let's just do it and get it over with.
I'm all for that.
All right. That sounds good.
And me and my good nature.
I wouldn't mind a bed and a good meal first, though.
I don't think I need either of those things.
Can we
She
ask?
looks up and says, "Well, there might still be room at the Blood of the Vine Tavern."
How many rooms do you have here?
She looks around and is like, "Do you want to stay here?"
Well, yes, I feel it would behoove us to keep you in a more lucid state for a longer period of time and maybe talk to you before we take off, before we continue.
She shakes her head like, "No, I really just want to be alone."
Oh, it's too bad you don't get a vote then.
She kind of slumps her head against the floor and kind of just like stares off.
Take a nap on the couch.
I think we should stay here. We can keep the boy
there's
and
very little furniture in this place. It's like a one-bedroom little ramshackle thing. Like this building has been split up into several different kind of like compartments or apartments. Her little one is like a one-room thing with very little furniture, a little straw mattress that the boy has been sleeping on. But other than that, there's nothing. She's sold pretty much everything that she's had, and so there's pretty much nothing there except piles of dirty laundry, and she's not been taking care of the place for sure.
I mean, I've got a blanket, so.
Okay. Yeah, I know you guys are hurting from your last fights, so.
I think that even if it is, not as good a night's rest, I feel like trying to keep her weaned off of the pastry and trying to get some more information out of her after it's been 8 or 12 hours is not necessarily the worst idea.
I can follow that line of logic.
Sure. All right. So, you feel free to bunk down in there. So you bunk down in the house. It's a little in the afternoon when you guys had got through this. The house you guys explored, when you first went in there, it was just around noon, and doesn't look like much time has passed on the outside, although you spent several hours in there, kind of looking around the place. But it's just a little bit after noon, not very far, maybe like 1 o'clock. You can't really tell because the skies are just clouded as ever. Like all of the skies are covered with thick clouds. And you can tell that the sun is up, but you can't tell exactly the position of it necessarily.
All right. As we're getting ready to kind of bunk down, I would like to cast Detect Magic as a ritual and see if the pastry that I have it emanates any magic from it.
Sure.
A bit of a noob question here. As a ritual, does that mean we can help out with that?
It just means that it takes 10 minutes to cast the spell, but I don't have to use components and stuff.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And it doesn't take a
casting
slot.
spell that's not in yours, that it doesn't waste a slot, or it's not
Right.
readied for you.
Gotcha.
Yep. So you guys are hanging out for 10 minutes to do that. Kind of just waiting around, kind of like, taking it easy. Stumble Duck, the gnome barbarian, is just like sharpening his axes and stuff while you guys are doing that. It's been a while. So you wanted to know about the pastry.
Yes.
Okay.
Alex, I don't know if you do this. I know some DMs do and don't.
What's
But
up?
like let's say my strength is -1, and whenever there's like downtime, let's say I do like push-ups or sit-ups to like boost that number. Do you do that or do you not do that?
Okay, so one more time. I apologize.
If I like in my free time, I decide I want to exercise, do push-ups in order to increase my strength stat, would you allow that or not?
To increase your strength stat, I mean, I've got
Yeah,
a
'cause I know
person.
some do, some doesn't.
I typically don't do that. Not
Okay.
that way. I've got a guy who does push-ups and stuff in the other campaign all the time, and I've never done that, so I don't know. That seems it's a whole different extra factor. I'd figure out how many it takes to kind of like, permanently increase your stat on that, and I'll research it before next time. I'll make a decision, but yeah, you can use your downtime to do that. But if you have a -1 to your strength to start with, you're not starting off with too many push-ups before you're going to get tired.
Of course not.
Let's see. All right. And I kind of also fall into that category of the idea that mages lose some of their strength because of the fact that they are kind of exerting their own life force in another area. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of a trade-off, essentially.
Gotcha.
Let's see. So whenever so the ritual goes through, but what you know about it while you're studying it and you're kind of doing that, is it's like a small mincemeat pie, a little pastry pie, and you do get some traces of magic, and you get some traces of kind of an illusion magic, where it kind of creates an illusion to whoever eats it. It affects their waking being and their dreams. Essentially, is what you can glean from it. By giving them some of the best dreams they've ever had in their life, and kind of just just increases their happiness exponentially.
Okay. So illusion magic.
I don't know if I ate it. I can't remember my memories.
Well, while we're at it, is there anything in the surrounding area radiating any magic?
In this house, no.
Okay.
Nope. Nope.
Hmm. Can I? No, that probably wouldn't help much. I was like, can I step out on the street? But it's only a 30-foot vision, so.
We could always ask her. I'd like to know if there's anything, if there's any particular points of interest in this town apart from the tavern that she's talked about, or if she can just give me some general info about the town.
Sure. She tells you this town is dying. Our burgomaster has done nothing to protect us from this hag, this old woman, just this crone, this absolute menace that has been driving pastries in this district of the town. He cares only for those who can put coin in his pocket, and his lovely daughter, Irina, and his son. He cares little about us people, as we live out our days under the cursed Strahd castle above us, the castle Ravenloft. With the menace of Strahd, that devil, he lives up there.
Right. That's depressing.
Sounds like you guys really like him.
You see why I wanted the dream pastry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome too.
This side of the town also has things to do here. Is the Blood of the Vine Tavern. If you're not eating pastries, you're there getting drunk. Other than that, not a whole lot. We haven't seen the sun in all of my life. I've never seen the sun. I heard it's supposed to be something special. I see emblems of it, of the Morning Lord in the church, but I've never seen the sun.
The church, you say?
Yes, there's a church, and she tells you it's over on the south or northern side of the place, like over here. She talks about the Blood on the Tavern being in the square over there, Blood of the Vine Tavern.
So in this town, it's just tavern, church, or are there any other stores or anything like that, or is that it?
There's that shop that owned by that rat Bildrith, who charges out the wazoo for his goods. That's across from that's across from the Blood of the Vine Tavern. They're brothers, you see, the bartender and Bildrith.
I think in a minute I'm gonna head to the church if anybody wants to come with me.
Yeah. I think it might behoove us to speak to the local clergy.
Sure, for a lark, I'll do it.
Alright, okay, so instead of doing the long rest, you're gonna... are you taking the boy with you, or what's going on?
Yep.
I don't think we should leave that boy here.
Do we want to go do that now, or do we want to take a rest first?
I mean, I can go by myself. I don't need a long rest, and I'm unborn, so not unborn, I'm an idiot. Reborn, my bad. So I can just take him by myself while you guys have a long rest, or have him stay with you guys when you have a long rest. It's up to you.
I can go with you.
And I think it'd be good for me to go, because not only am I also clergy, but my feature will allow me library access to anyone that's got a library, and they might have one.
Up to you. Whoever you want.
I'll tag along.
Anyway.
We want to do that first? No long rest?
If not, for now anyway.
Okay.
So you guys take the boy and you let her know you'll be back, and you head out into the road, kind of walking down the street. Periodically.
When she came back, she was a corpse.
What? Say it again?
When we came back, she was a corpse.
So you guys start heading down the road. And as you go along, you definitely see what she's talking about. This place is definitely run down. Hovels line the whole street. This particular section of the town has definitely seen much better days. It looks like every once in a while you'll spot what looks like claw marks on the buildings as well, kind of cut into the wood. Some large animal has cut little deep rows of claw marks into the wood as you pass by. So you continue to head on down the roads, and after a little bit of twists and turns, you finally see the road that leads up to the church. Behind it, you see a massive cemetery back there as you approach. So this is a better description of what you see. The chapel is in shambles with overturned and broken pews. Or sorry, not wrong. That's the wrong thing. My bad. Okay, so atop a slight rise, against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft, stands a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. This church has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end, and it's worn and weary. A bell tower rises toward the back, and flickering lights shine through holes in the shingled roof, and the rafters strain feebly against their load. And that is over here.
You download these maps, Alex, or do you make them yourself?
I make a lot of this stuff myself.
Oh, that's impressive.
Some of them I download, but I download the assets. A lot of these assets are created by other people, but I use them to create the scenes. Let's see.
Shit works for me.
There he is. All right, so you guys are approaching the church. So as you approach, you notice that the heavy wooden doors of the church are covered with claw marks and seem to be scarred by fire.
Does this look recent or old?
The fire is more recent than the claw marks. The claw marks are definitely much more ingrained and deeper into the wood. Go ahead.
Can I do a nature check to get an idea of what kind of thing could have made these claw marks?
Absolutely.
Sure. 6, my favorite.
What'd you roll?
10 with the modifiers.
Okay. So, yeah, you definitely kind of recognize these claw marks as that of a canine in origin, but they're much too big to be a wolf or a dire wolf. And they're also higher than what a dire wolf would have got to unless it was standing on its hind feet.
If this is some type of unholy creature, can I make a religion check?
Sure. Yeah.
Big dog.
Oh, I hate it when it does that. Stopped on the 17, then rolled over to the 3.
Oh boy.
You can't tell what kind of creature it is, other than it's some sort of canine creature.
Can I give it a go?
Sure, absolutely, everyone can. They're
Okay.
all looking at the door as you approach. So,
What would I roll again? I'm sorry.
are you rolling religion to see if it's a kind of a unholy creature, as he said, or?
Let me see. What's my highest? Can I roll investigation?
Sure, you can investigate it.
Yep. Appreciate it. I'm clicking. There we go. And that is a 19.
So, kind of looking at it, you kind of come up to the sides of it, look down at it. You kind of play out, with your own hand and kind of make your fingers rake across where these claw marks are at, and you realize that whatever made this was definitely bipedal. It wasn't just like a four-legged creature standing on its legs, because it had some real strength behind and some power, like almost like it's used its legs and the thrust of its fingers, and so whatever this has claws like a dog but stands on 2 feet, and is at least the size or maybe even taller than you guys, the tallest of you.
One weird ass creature.
You also see a little bit of tufts of fur here and there, and you realize it's definitely from sort of wolf-like creature.
I've seen this before in my undead studies.
What would that be?
Yeah, do tell.
It's well, if I deduce correctly, it may be some form of lycanthrope.
Maybe. Ooh.
That would fit.
Yep, you guys kind of work that out, talking to each other, that there seems to be, and this would matches the periodic claw marks that you saw throughout, that there may be some sort of werewolf or some sort of were-being in this area, but most likely a wolf, considering the claw marks.
Hey, Grimace, how would one theoretically, hypothetically, become such a werewolf creature?
Well, there are natural-born lycanthropes, and there are others that are turned by being scratched or bitten by another lycanthrope.
So in the hypothetical situation, of course, if I was bit or scratched and I didn't tend to it, I could theoretically become a werewolf, hypothetically.
Well, yes, assuming we didn't kill you first.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Just completely hypothetical. Please excuse me. I'm going to walk into church now.
Grimness, you're already suspicious of this non-dead guy. Now you are even more suspicious as he says that. You kind of eye him, one big eyebrow raised, staring at him as he walks towards the door.
As he walks in front of me, I kind of like sneakily flick some holy water at him, as a precaution.
Did you already do this session? Didn't work?
That doesn't mean I'm done doing it.
Okay.
Just for safety's sake.
Exactly.
Who's heading in first? Who's opening the door?
As long as you keep not reacting to the holy water, we're fine.
All right, that sounds fair to me. I'll head in first.
All right. So, dead guy, you open the door. This opens into the doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors, 2 on each side of the hall, lead to 8 adjacent chambers. You can see that the chapel is strewn with debris, and you hear a soft voice from within citing a prayer. Suddenly, as you take a few feet in, suddenly you hear that the prayer is kind of blotted out by an inhuman scream that rises up from beneath the wooden floor. "Father, I'm so hungry!"
Can we have nut in one nice place? Jesus.
Bro, it's Raven.
Whatever God they believe in. That
As you as that voice screams comes up, you see the priest at the end of the hall kind of look up at you, or look up and kind of like shock and then sees you, and then immediately puts down his little holy symbol that he's praying to and sets it down and starts heading your way to see what he can do for you. Yes, gentlemen, come on in. And he starts to slow down as he approaches, seeing that you, dead guy, look a little bit different than you should, because you're like whiter, paler, and a little translucent. But you definitely look strange compared to a normal person. But then he gains his composure again until he sees the dwarf, and then he suddenly again starts to lose his own focus. Then he sees the gnome, and then he sees the human druid, and then he sees the bird coming in the back, and he's just like, Uh, what can I do for you?
Well, I was curious what type of gods, goddess, etc. you would worship in such a fine place.
Oh,
Before he answers him, can I see what, like, is he should be wearing a holy symbol, right? Something on his vestments.
he placed his holy symbol on the table, but his vestments are kind of white and red with a, like kind of a red lapel thing around the top of it, and yeah, it's just he doesn't. It kind of looks like rays of the sun coming off of him, as in a kind of a pattern of a sun rays coming off from the top of his robe.
Being an old ass cleric, can I can I possibly surmise what
Sure.
church he's affiliated with?
Yeah.
I assume another religion.
Yep.
Come on, baby. Nat 20.
Nice.
Nice.
You notice that this looks very similar to kind of the only sun gods that you're aware of coming from Faerun is I can't even say the name right. Aminator, the sun god. But you notice that it is a little bit not the pattern is different. So this looks like maybe like a variation of that. But you're not entirely sure on that for 100%, because it's more of like a pattern of his dress. You haven't seen the holy symbol itself. But he responds, of course, to Dead Guy's question. Why this lovely place, and he looks around at the rubble, and he kind of like stops and rubs his hand against his vestments. Yes, this place is temple to the Morning Lord.
Morning Lord. What kind of god is that?
Well, he is the Morning Lord, and he kind of hangs his hand up toward the sky. Watches over all of this land, though the devil Strahd has blocked him from our sight.
At the god of the morning, or
The morning, the sun. He is
okay, sun
he
god,
is
sun
the
god.
father.
Okay.
He is the opposite of the Night Mother. The Night Mother watches over those of the evening and night.
Makes sense. Interesting.
I'd like to push past Dead Guy and introduce myself to the priest. Say, yes, it's wonderful to meet a fellow clergyman, Grimness Aberlite, disciple of the Church of the Revered Mother. And I give him a deep bow.
Revered Mother, do you mean the Night Mother? Are you a disciple of the Night Mother?
Yeah, no. I am a disciple of the great goddess Baronar Truesilver, queen and wife of Moradin.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with either of those two deities. I would be careful spreading that around. There are those, and not myself, of course. I'm open to outside deities, but there are those within this land that would consider what you say of other deities as blasphemous. But you are welcome here. The Morning Lord welcomes all.
You only know about the two deities?
What was that last thing?
I'm talking to this person. Sir, do you only know about two deities? So kind of light and dark god? Is that only deities that you know of?
Yes, of course. They created all. The Night Mother is the antithesis of the Morning Lord. She created the night and all of the creatures that dwell within. And the Morning Lord, he created the sun and the sky and brings about all that is good.
My guy, we gotta get you out of Barovia. I mean, I want to get out of here too, but we definitely gotta get you out of here. I can't tell you how many gods there actually are. Too many to count.
I look forward to learning more about this, but again, I wouldn't go around saying that too much. You might be taken as heretics by others more zealous in the matter than I.
Good idea, good idea. Oh, right. It completely slipped my mind, but when I walked in here, I heard kind of a scream. Everything okay in here? Do you need anybody
Oh,
who needs help, perhaps?
yes, no, that's nothing at all. There's
Just normal for Barovia, right?
my son. He has been afflicted, and he's in my basement now, trying to become whole again through worship and in fasting and attempting to be right again with the Morning Lord. The Morning Lord will provide.
I would be glad to provide some assistance. I am a master of healing.
Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. And what did you say your name was, good cleric?
Grimness Everlight.
Grimness. My name is Father Donovan. But yes, no, my son is quite capable. Was quite capable with the Morning Lord too, and I do appreciate your fine offer. But unfortunately, this isn't the best time for worship within the church. As you can see, we're remodeling, and yes, my son is not feeling well, but he will recover with the help of the Morning Lord.
I
Grimness
asked him.
just kind of stands there with a displeased look on his face.
I asked him bluntly if this affliction is of the lycanthropic variety.
What? No, not a werewolf. No, not at all. It's not even nothing to worry about. Just a little illness.
Did a vampire bite him? Maybe.
You see him, all of the color in his face kind of die out, and then he kind of comes back and kind of like, no, nothing so much like that to worry about. Nothing to be too worried about. Like I said, the Morning Lord will answer my prayers if I am diligent. And just as he's about to say that, you hear the scream again, and something bangs on the cellar from underneath. Father, I'm so hungry, so hungry.
Yeah, he's a vampire.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to start taking a step past the father and say, "Oh, now come, let me assist. I know what I'm doing." And I just kind of start walking and looking for maybe a door that I think heads downstairs.
Hey, Grimace, do you have any
right
notes
behind
on
you
how to cure
going.
vampires?
He's right behind you, going, "Oh no, it's quite fine, good Grimness. You do not need to help with this. Everything will be fine."
No, it's a professional courtesy. I have no problem doing it. It's fine.
I absolve you of your courtesy requirements. You absolutely do not have to do this. And you see
I know. I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart.
You see him. You see pleading eyes begging you to stop, and as he's like trying as best he can not to say more.
Can I stop right there and get really, really close to him and say, "If you'd like to tell me what's going on, then we don't have to keep up this farce.
So
You and I both know there's more at hand."
So he looks over at the group, and then he kind of leans forward and says, all right. Yes, he was bitten by a vampire, but like as I said, there are rituals that we can do. The Morning Lord will help cleanse him. There's no need to go any further. I mean, he's my son. I don't want to see anything bad happen.
Rituals are more powerful with more clergy. I implore you, let me assist.
I was just in the prayers to the Morning Lord, but I suppose if you would like to help me with that, we could spend time in prayer as we have been, as I have been for the past 3 days.
I would be glad to lend assistance in any manner possible.
Offense, sir, but I don't think the Morning Lord has been doing his job recently.
You see Father Donovan kind of like stop, and he's kind of looking like like he acknowledges that, but he can't say it because of his position.
There's literally no sunlight.
No, no, the Morning Lord. We cannot always understand his ways, but he will. If we are diligent, if we are trusting in him, he will provide.
Get the strange
need to
feeling
have
you might have
faith.
abandoned the place.
These men don't understand the concept of faith as you and I do, Father.
Indeed, indeed.
Come, let us pray. And then I will pray with him, but I'm going to pray to my deity and see if I can get a response.
Okay. All right. So you see him go back to behind the thing, and you kind of join him. You do finally get to see the medallion that he's holding. It is in the shape of a sun. You do recognize it as a kind of a slightly different, a different symbol, like it's been modified, or perhaps the symbol that you've seen has changed since this one is like maybe like an older version. But it definitely looks like this might be from Aminator, the sun god.
Okay.
And then he goes back into his little chanting. He's kind of got it, the chain wrapped around his hand while he's holding the pendant or the medallion in one hand. And he goes back to doing his little prayers, speaking softly, asking the Morning Lord to cure his son. And as he's doing that, you hear more of the banging from below, and the son just kind of like, Father! Father! Father!
I have a thought that's kind of messed up. If we attempt to cure him, but we cannot, maybe it'd be best if we just let him eat a pastry. It'd be quite. It's a harsh
I do
reality.
have one left.
It's quite harsh, but like either suffer like that or not. Like, you know, man, this is fucked. Holy shit.
Maybe we can offer that to the Father after the prayers.
I wouldn't do that to a fellow clergyman.
Know what's right anymore, to be honest. Who suffer, not to suffer in a different way. God's not doing the sun god not doing a job. The goddess of night or darkness doing her job a little too well. It's all crazy. I love it. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm just going to try to pray with him and see if maybe my prayers can be answered, or if I'm cut off from my goddess here.
So you don't hear like a voice or anything. You can feel your goddess. She can still imbue you with power, but you don't hear a response like you would normally would. You definitely feel a little bit of distortion, as though something is cutting you off from your deity's full power that you were felt in Faerun. But you've kind of got the feeling that you might not be in Faerun anymore as soon as you went through that gate.
I will, instruct the party that we seem to be somewhere where my, reaching my goddess has been limited, and that it might cause issues. And then I will turn back to Father Donovan and ask him, can you tell me about this Strahd person?
What would you like to know? He is ancient. He's been here for as long as anyone can remember. Ever since I was a boy, I was weaned on his stories of this devil who lives in the castle. What's more can I tell you? We know he's a vampire and that he will abduct us whenever he can. No one is welcome into his castle. Anyone who goes in is killed. He seems to have placed a curse on this land. As far as back as I can remember from stories, he seems to have placed a curse on this land for some sin that was committed by the people of Barovia, but we do not know what it is.
Do you perchance have a library?
Unfortunately not. All the books that I have are in my office. We do not have a library in this chapel. This chapel has always been a bit humble in its origins, but and he looks around and shows you the attendance has declined greatly, and it seems that even this holy place cannot keep out the Devil Strahd's minions who have come in and wrecked the place up, as you can plainly see. You can look around, see the pews overturned or shattered into pieces around you.
Do you stay on the premises? Where's your rectory?
Yes. My room and my office and my son's room are back in that hall, and he points down to the hall back here. You see 4 doors that you passed on the way in.
Would you mind? I know you said you don't have many books, but would you mind if I looked through some of them?
You may absolutely look through them.
Much appreciated, Father. And Grimness is gonna dash off and do that. See if he can find anything pertaining to Strahd, vampirism, and weird magical cakes.
Okay. So he tells you it's the first door on the left to get into his office, and so you come up and you open the door. Inside that room, an old desk and chairs stand against the south wall, a wooden holy symbol mounted above them, a sunburst, very similar to the way that the amulet was that he was wearing. A 10-foot-long iron rod attached to the north wall stands bare, suggesting a tapestry once hung there. Against the far wall stands a wooden cabinet with four tall doors.
Well, I will be looking through the tomes, but obviously I'm going to be a little snoopy as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you want to just leave me in there for a bit and let other people do some stuff, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So we can come back to you and see what you found if you're just sticking around. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So everybody else is kind of just in here. Stumbleducks comes and sits down in the pew, kind of very just kind of relaxes back, arms up against on the back of the pew, just waiting for whatever's happened next. He kind of just lays his axes down and just sits there.
I approach Father Donovan and I ask him if he knows anything about this lady selling pastries.
Oh, yes. I think someone called her by the name Morgantha. Yes, she arrived some months ago, 1 or 2 or so. No one knows where she comes from. She just is here one day, and the next, no one can find her. I don't think she lives in the village.
Has anybody ever tried tracking her?
Some have tried. Some of the more those. By now, you most likely have seen, since you know of her. You probably have seen what she's peddling. Those pastries that give false hope to the parishioners, which is why, of course, they've stopped attending. They seem to find more solace in the pastries than they do within the Temple of the Morning Lord. But so some of those who have tried to get her pastries or would steal the pastries from her have tried to follow her, but the reports are that when she ducks down an alleyway that they think she has no escape from, she's nowhere to be found.
We still have the boy with us, correct?
Yeah.
I asked Father Donovan if he's able to tell us anything about the boy, like anything about the family that's of any interest. If there's any backstory to him.
He looks at the boy. The boy's kind of standing around, just kind of right next to you, kind of like.
Oh, I was
around.
playing with him.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Me and him were playing around, goofing off, not paying any attention.
Yes, I've seen the boy before, but I don't know anything about his parentage. I've seen him in the streets, unsupervised most of the time.
We've been tasked with bringing him to an orphanage. I forget the town. Are you able to tell us?
The
Oh, sorry.
orphanage in Vallaki, yes, yes.
Is
St.
this place
Andrews, I believe, is the name of it.
is this place reputable? Can we trust them to take good care of the boy?
St. Andrews, yes, absolutely. St. Andrew, along with St. Andrew's Church in Vallaki, very reputable, very good worshippers of the Morning Lord. But St. Andrew, by the way, St. Andrew seems to, or as legend has it, is divinely protected, unlike this place. No evil can set foot within its doors.
Hmm. Well, that's reassuring. It's the saddest story for this boy, and all the other kids in this town being taken away like that.
Indeed, indeed, and from what I understand, they never return, and we end up burying an empty box in the back, in the cemetery.
Terrible. I don't think I have much else to ask Father Donovan at this point.
Well,
I don't know if you have anything to add, dead guy.
Morning Lord be with you. May
Thank
his
you.
light shine upon you.
I have
Thank you.
a theory I'm thinking about, but I don't want to say it out loud because I have no evidence for it. So I'm going to keep it to myself for now, unless you really want to know.
Now you piqued my curiosity.
Yeah, same.
So, these kids are going to wherever and are never seen again by that hag peddling the pastries, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So, this is dark. It's probably not what's happening. What if this is an old hag we're talking about. What if the pastries are made out of children? That's why nobody sees them again.
I mean, they are mincemeat pies. We could
Yeah.
see if there's a barber shop in town.
Yeah.
Jesus,
That is messed up, but that sounds like it could be right.
Just one theory I had in my head. I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to figure it out.
Is that something that you're wondering out of character or in character?
Sounds like both. Yeah.
I know, I'm just like, I was trying to think about what's going on, and I thought, okay, if think about what's going on, this is Curse of Strahd, I'm trying to, and my character's in this dark place, take a theory and make it as dark as humanly possible, and eating children. This is pretty dark, so now I'm just like, okay, maybe it's children, maybe it is really just some kind of magical drugs, I don't know, I just can't help but think. I really don't know.
Alright. Well, let's come back over here and talk about what Grimness is finding here, digging through stuff. So, Grimness, in the desk, all you found in there was a few sheets of blank parchment, along with a couple quill pens and dried up jars of ink. However, the wooden cabinet contains very little, even though it's a pretty big cabinet. Inside are a tinderbox, a few wooden boxes full of candles, and two, and only two, well-used books. Hymns to the Dawn, a volume of Chant to the Morning Lord, and A Blade of Truth, the uses of logic in the war against the diabolist heresies as fought by the Ultimist Inquisition. That's the full title, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And
Glad it's not the abridged version.
Paging through that, you see that it's kind of like a strange book that seems to be mixing logic with lurid descriptions of fiend-worshipping cults.
I think I'd like to leaf through that book some more. Give it a bit more of a...
Do an investigation for me.
A little more thorough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sure you don't want to read the hymns?
Oh, we're going to get to those. 11.
Okay, so a lot of it seems like nonsense to you. Some of it just seems like you've read about cults before, and it looks like some of this is just fabricated nonsense of like people trying to guess what happens in cults. But you do notice that there is a name that pops out at you, a Durst family cult. And you realize that was the name of the family that in the house that you guys had just got out of.
Yeah.
What you find out from that is that some 100 to 200 years ago, there was a family that lived in this village that decided to try to appease to themselves to the devil Strahd by becoming worshippers of him, and they practiced unholy rituals, is how it kind of talks about it, inside the house, getting members of the community to become part of the cult inside. And eventually there was this one night that it kind of describes to you that there's this one night that they were having one of their meetings, and the house itself kind of imploded on itself and disappeared, and the lot where the house was remained empty for 10 years, and then one day it just was there again. And everyone has always called it the death house. No one ever goes around it, no one ever goes in it. Anybody who does go in it never comes out again.
I'd like to bring the book back outside and kind of slap it down in front of our boy Father Donnie, and ask him, "This house, is this the house that?" And then like give him the description of the house that we went through.
I believe it is. If your descriptions are correct, sounds like you went into the death house and you came out. That's astounding. You would be the first in a century.
Interesting.
Like the house needs a new name.
I hand that book to the druid, open to where it is, and I say, "There's one more book I've got my eye on, but you guys may find something of interest in here."
Sure, I'll take the book. This is the long-winded title book, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
the cult one.
Yep.
And then
Sure.
I'll return back to the office to read the hymnal book.
Okay. All right.
I'll also go through the book and see if there's anything else I can glean from the pages.
Okay.
And that's that's Arcana?
Investigation.
Okay.
Yeah. There's nothing
Ooh.
magical about this book. There's no spells in it. It's just a book on cults.
Gotcha. I rolled a whopping 6.
Man, wow.
Yeah, you make even less sense of it than he did. You're just like, this is nonsense.
Okay, fair enough with that roll.
All right. Grimness, you're going to look through the hymn book, or are you doing something else?
Yeah, I'm going to look through the hymnal book, and then I do want to try and peek behind the giant wooden cabinets, see if maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I want to take the full a full like 20 and make sure I'm not missing anything secret in the room or anything like that. No false bottoms or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, while he's doing that, I'd like to question Father Donovan if he's aware of any other means to cure his son, or even possible leads or rumors or whatnot that he may have heard.
No. Those who usually become a vampire, they run off into the night and are never seen from again, except being hunted by the few daring enough to hunt them and bring them back with their heads severed or a stake through their heart.
Not a great position for your son to be in. When did he get bit? When did he get bit?
3 days ago.
3 days.
As soon as he confronted me with it, he had not yet turned, and he had not yet taken blood, so I thought there might be some hope. It's my hope that if he doesn't drink any human blood, that it may be able to be cured by the Morning Lord. He hasn't committed that sin, so the Morning Lord may forgive him and bring him back into the light.
Hey, Father, just a question. Is it impossible for a living being to be both a vampire and a my god, I always mess up pronouncing this word. Lycanthropy. Is that how you say it?
Lycanthrope? Lycanthrope?
Lycanthrope. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I always butcher the word.
That's okay. Not that I know of. But that's not really my
Yeah.
domain of understanding. We typically don't experiment with
Okay.
such things. That's the.
I was hoping if it was impossible, you know, you'd be a werewolf instead of a vampire. But that's just me going through ideas in my head. Ignore me. I'm an idiot. I haven't been dead for much long.
You see him make a kind of a holy gesture towards you, and turns back to the rest of the group. He's eyeing you suspiciously now.
And I'm just in my own head thinking, how can I do this? Don't know anything about this. Just thinking to myself, how would I do this? How would I make this work? Oh, shit, I don't know. I do not know.
All
Lost
right,
my own thought.
So, Grimness, you've looked through the hymn book. The hymns are all to the Morning Lord. They're pretty dull. You don't see anything in there that might be a hint as to, what some sort of spell or anything. All of it just looks like really bad written lyrics. But
it's not like culty, you
No.
know.
No.
It's not like, oh, praise the morning Lord, also eat babies, but mostly the morning Lord.
Correct. It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good Morning Lord stuff. It's definitely this is a good deity. You get hints of like some of the language. It's definitely got a little bit of follow from its Faerun origins, but it's definitely changed. Some of it is definitely it's all more focused on the Morning Lord. No talk about other deities or anything like that, other than the Night Mother, the Morning Lord pushing back the Night Mother, stuff like that. But while you're looking around too, you kind of look around and looking behind stuff, and then you kind of look down and you see that there is a small crack in the woods in the floor, and you can see an eye staring up at you.
I would like to address the eye.
DI.
Hello.
Hello.
May I ask your name?
My name is Doru.
Did Father Donovan tell us the name of his kid?
He did not.
Okay.
Could you put your finger in this hole for me?
Why would you need that, young man?
I just want to inspect it. It's been
Father,
so
it's like
long
a
since
liar.
I've had the feeling of another human touch.
Oh. Hold on. So I have candles and rations. Do I have anything I could make look like a finger and then put it in the hole?
Carve the candle.
I could. The candle might work. Depending on what kind of rations they are, maybe I could mold it into a finger-looking wedge of jerky. I don't know.
Why don't you just let me out, and then I'll find my way.
I wouldn't even know where to begin now to let you out.
There's a door in the room next to this one. A door in the floor to the cellar.
Excellent. I pretend to look around, and as I do, I would like to grab some of. It's not on my sheet here. I thought I had it. Uh-oh. Never mind. I guess I thought I had made some holy water, but I guess I didn't. How difficult would it be for me to bless my water skin and just
You can do that.
accidentally dump some on his eye while I'm pretending to look around?
Do a religion check and see if you can pull that off. Yeah.
Oof. Oh, 14?
Yeah. You bless it perfectly fine. You go through the ritual, and It seems to shine a little bit more than brighter than regular water.
And I say, you said it's that way.
Yes, in the next room.
I turn to look and, quote-unquote, accidentally spill holy water through the crack onto dude's eyeball.
Why did you do that?
Sorry about that. Incontinence. I'm quite old.
That wasn't piss, you old fart.
Right, well, let me go see your father Donovan will let me down to let you out. And I walk out of the room.
No, don't. And you start hearing him scream again down there. All of you start hearing the scream again. Father, let me out!
Your son's a tricky one.
So you've met him.
Storu. Storu, right?
Doru, yep.
Storu. Yes, he tried to convince me to let him out.
Oh, it's getting worse. The Morning Lord must answer my prayers. He must answer them. He's closing his eyes and whispering and kind of, moving in a very rocking back and forth way, trying to plead with his god to change his boy back.
I'm under the assumption that I would need greater restoration to remove vampirism, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guys, I think I'm just going to say it out loud as my character. I don't think we can help. To be quite honest, I don't think there's anything we can do in our current situation.
I think, unfortunately, you may be right, my friend.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately.
How we could come back and help at a later time, should we find the means.
If he's not a vampire, then by then I would like to, but he might have turned by then. I don't know how vampirism works, to be honest.
If Donnie Boy keeps him tied up down there, he is secured, correct?
I would hope so, yes.
Yes. The locks on the door down there, they cannot be broken. He's already tried, and the longer he goes without sustenance, the weaker he'll get when trying to do that. So he can't get free of his prison down there.
You have him chained up then?
He's not chained up. I could not chain him up. It was all I could do to get him down there when he first came back. But I locked the there's locks and chains over the door.
I'd like to go into the room where the locked and chained door to the cellar is.
Okay.
You're in the pastry.
Yeah, so when you open that door, this room...
One time I wish I wasn't wrong.
Seems like time and neglect have punched holes in the ceiling of this moldy room, which contains a few broke roof shingles amid puddles of water. In one corner, set in the floor, is a heavy wooden trapdoor held shut with a chain and a padlock. And you can see that it is tightly held tight on the floor there. Just the chains are kind of crisscrossed over it with a padlock in the center.
All right. I would like to bless the chains and the padlock, and then bless the water on the floor, and spread it about so that it covers most of the floor.
Get it to soak into the wood.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of puddled up a little bit. There are enough cracks that if you spread it out, it's going to seep down into the cracks and down into the thing. Where it's at, it's kind of piled up between some of the cracks, so it's kind of like a little pond.
Yeah.
But you can definitely tell that when the rain comes in, it splashes over and seeps down into the underneath.
Yeah, I'd like to turn that into holy water and then spread it around, and if some goes through the cracks, that's fine, because if he steps on it down there, it'll burn him, which just keeps him even further away from this door.
Okay, sounds good. Roll another religion check to make sure you do that.
12.
still enough. It's good. You're a cleric, so you have basic skills. So unless you had rolled under your normal skill, it's not going to have be much difficult there. So, all right. So yeah, you bless it. You see the light kind of illuminate this water, so you can tell that it's changed. And then you're going to bless the chains and the stuff as well. Correct?
Yes, yeah, chains, padlock, door.
Okay. All right. So do that for the padlock and the door.
More rolls?
Yeah, one more roll.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you did it for the water.
There you go. 19.
Oh yeah, that one is much more. You feel much more in the rhythm of things, feeling the power flow out of you even as you do it. Okay. All right.
I'll return back and I will inform Father Donovan that I reinforced that room with holy waters and et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I appreciate that so much. And what did you say your god's name was again?
Baron Truesilver, the revered mother.
Yes, the revered mother. Yes,
Revered mother.
I appreciate that that assistance from her. And you still see kind of like him still kind of being a little bit skeptical about other gods, but he's very much appreciative of any help he can get.
Well, I feel we should take the boy. Well, we should rest first. But we should come back to assist Father Donovan if possible.
Definitely.
Definitely in agreement with that. I think that's a wise plan.
Okay. Well, safe journeys to you. May the morning Lord shine on you.
Thank you, Father Donovan.
And you as well. May the revered mother keep you eternally at her bosom.
Yes, thank you.
That's totally not made up. It's a thing we say.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I don't know why you needed to clarify that.
Actually, I clerified it.
Oh my god. That was so bad, it's good.
I like it.
Love it. I regret that. I love it.
So you guys are heading out.
Yeah, I guess.
I think we need to go get some rest.
Mentally and
Yeah.
physically.
All right, so you guys make your way back out, back towards the village. All right.
While we're walking back to the village, I'm just like, oh god, guys, that was so fucked. Oh my gosh, that was painful. That was really, really painful.
Well, this place seems to be under dire threat from
Possibly.
multiple avenues. It's clear we're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
you-
from here, as you guys walked in, you can kind of see the square from here. You can see a sign on one of the buildings off in the distance. Kind of looks like a kind of a merchant sign. And you can also see a sign dangling from over here. Kind of like looks like a tavern sign over there.
Do you guys want to check out the tavern, or do we want to go and sleep with the strung out crackhead that we're keeping away from the crack?
What a decision. What a decision. Comfortable
Yeah.
bed in a hotel or a crackhead's house with no furniture. I can't see what can go wrong with a crackhead.
I mean, same.
Especially when you've got the thing that she's longing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it could ever go wrong there. Trust me.
No, we're definitely not going to wake up to trouble.
Definitely not. I don't know why you would even think that.
Well, up to you guys. If the party does not want to sleep on the floor at Crackhead's house, we can go check out the inn. I don't have a problem with that. Grimness is just caught up with, like, this woman has a child. She can't take care of the child. It would, it's kind of our job to help her. But we have helped her to the extent that we can at this point.
Pretty true.
So leaving her overnight, I think he would be okay with that.
Plus, I'm a reborn. I don't even need to sleep, so I'm fine either way, to be honest.
Well, good. We need somebody to keep guard.
That's fine by me. I'm not going to be doing anything anyway, so.
I'm leaning more towards the inn, especially after the mention of us carrying the pastry around an addict.
I mean, fair enough. Let's go check out the inn then.
Cool beans.
All right. So as you head down to the square, you can see that, and you kind of approach the inn. You can see that basically the sun, a single shaft of light, thrusts illumination into the main square. Its brightness looking like a solid pillar in the heavy fog. Above the gaping doorway of the tavern, a sign hangs precariously askew, proclaiming this to be Blood on the Vine Tavern. Now, when you look at it, though, a little closer, you can see that an N has been scratched over to make the word on instead of. So it should have said Blood of the Vine, but now it says Blood on the Vine. Something has scratched an N over that F.
That's not ominous.
Oh boy.
Not at all.
That crackhead's house is looking way better all of a sudden. That's a sad.
Yeah. Everybody was just in the crackhead's house until we see the tavern's all fucked up.
Yeah. So the crackhead's house is pretty nice, even with no furniture.
At least she had ramen.
Yeah. This place is just, I don't know yet. I don't want to know.
Okay. You guys want to proceed inside or decide to go live with or stay with the cracker?
I still want to go inside.
Yeah, let's check it out at least.
Okay.
Yeah. Macho's so fucked. I love it.
Okay, so as you enter, the tavern itself is pretty empty. Just a few people inside. There seems to be a table of 3 women wearing kind of a gypsy-looking clothes over in the corner, and there seems to be a young man of medium height with blonde hair and kind of a cloak, a nicely wrapped cloak around his shoulder, who's sitting down to a meal. He eyes you a little warily as you guys enter, just kind of watching as you do. Walk past him up to the barkeep. The barkeep's standing in the back, just kind of wiping down the same mug over and over as you approach, even though the mug itself looks like it's mostly clean. It seems like he just keeps re-wiping this and kind of staring off into space as you approach.
We'll be just slacking off and wants to look busy. I do that all the time at work too. No, it's still dirty.
What do the other patrons look like?
So, the 3 women, varying sizes and hair color, but they are all wearing kind of a gypsy-looking clothes. They have little, like handkerchief or kerchiefs over their heads and stuff, and they have like exquisite little beads and stuff around their neck, and they seem to be just enjoying themselves. They're drinking and laughing, and they only give you a kind of a momentary look, and then they go back to their back to what they're doing. They don't seem to care about you guys being in there at all.
What about the other corner?
So yeah, that's the man that's kind of sitting there. He's kind of in his chair, eating his food, just kind of watching your group very closely. He does have a small smile on his face whenever you look his way. He kind of acknowledges you with a small smile and then goes back to eating. But he seems to still be looking in your direction, as though he's curious about you.
Can we tell if he's staring at anyone in particular?
Nope, just kind of looking at all of you, taking you in.
Okay. I guess I'll step up to the counters. Excuse me, my good man. Do you have rooms for the evening?
So, for a moment, he's still staring off, mindlessly rubbing his glass, and then he stops and then looks down over the counter at you. Oh, you're a small one. Yes. Yes, we have rooms.
That's not what your mom said.
Oh shit!
Oh, what was that?
I said you have rooms. Excellent.
Yes, I have rooms. How many do you need?
I don't need one.
So technically, there's what, 6 of us
Oh, 5 then?
Well, with the boy.
with the boy.
What would your company like you be doing in a town like this?
Wow, just stopping through sightseeing, you know.
You see a kind of a look of disbelief on his face. Sightseeing in Barovia.
Well, yes, I have the ability of sight, and I'm seeing things right now, so.
Well, technically, the truth.
You guys also have those 2 letters, the one that brought you here and one that you found on your way, so don't forget about those.
I just don't know how prudent it is to share those with the tavern keep, you know?
Sure. Just a reminder. The tavern, the barkeep, who he's kind of just like getting kind of bored with the conversation. He kind of goes back to wiping. Well, I've got rooms. How many do you need?
Well, there's 6 of us. How many rooms do you have, and how many do they sleep?
I've got 2, and they'll hold all 6 of you.
Excellent.
That'll be 10 gold apiece.
That's much less excellent. That's quite expensive, my good man.
Yeah, that is rich.
I'm a humble member of the clergy. We don't make money.
Well, you'll never find a nicer place in this town.
I don't need a room. I'm good.
I feel like that doesn't say much.
Short of the burgomaster's residence, and you see him kind of eye the guy in the corner as he kind of scoffs.
Was there on the letter from the burgomaster? Was there a seal?
There was a seal on the one that or on both of them actually. The one that you opened had the seal of kind of like a dragon. The one that was brought to you inside the thing, it kind of had a castle with a dragon kind of wrapped around it. And the one that you found on the gentleman just had a kind of like just a big B in it, like the letter B, kind of like in the seal mark. So it was like much less decorative.
If I glance over the gentleman in the corner, do I see either one of those symbols upon his personage?
You do not.
No, I think I have exactly 10 gold. Let me check. I believe I have exactly 10. Where is... Oh, it's in the top right corner. Yeah, if you guys want, I do have exactly 10. I can use it for this, but then remember, I won't have any more money.
Yeah, but it's 10 each.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
And that's insane. That's a lot of money for a room.
Yeah. The crack house is looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, crack house is looking pretty good right now.
I look over at my compatriots and say, well, it's too rich for my blood, but I think we go with the original plan.
I have to agree. My cheapness overrides my wish to sleep to here.
Is there a way to, like, sway him or do a small job for him to get, like, a big discount?
I have no charisma, so I'm not getting us anywhere.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
I have +2 charisma. I can give it a shot.
Yeah, and if you want to try and persuade or intimidate or something.
So you guys are kind of like...
Definitely intimidate.
You guys are kind of, debating this, and he sees that he's possibly going to lose a sale, so he starts going, that 10 gold covers food for the night, food for the morning, and all you can drink.
Seems he's sweetening the deal.
I'm still finding that pretty rich.
Can I try charisma to lower the set gold, Alex?
Yeah, you can absolutely try it with charisma.
Okay, that would be a...
Persuasion.
Yeah.
Persuasion to check.
Oh, thank God.
Schmooze him, man. Schmooze him.
persuasion. Where is... Here it is. Stupid ads. That would be a 15.
All right, let's hear your argument.
Yes, hear your arguments.
Hmm.
He's just sitting there waiting. He's still rubbing the glass while he's waiting, kind of, and sets up one down, picks up another, starts rubbing another glass, waiting for you to make a counter offer for him.
Okay. Good sir, I see that you do not want to lose a sale. However, if you keep it at your original price, you will. I would say you minus a big chunk off it, and then you would still get your sale, and that sale would be better than no sale, which is a big old fat 0 gold.
Love it.
You make an interesting point.
Thank
Let's see. 8 gold apiece.
God damn it.
What was that? Did he say 5?
I think he said 5, yeah.
I think he said 3.
So just
Right?
as he
That's pretty
says
good.
that, the young man who's been eyeing you approaches the bar. Eric, don't be so rude to these guests of our town. They don't get strangers much. You know this. May I bother you, adventurers? It looks like.
Please do.
Could-
Accompany this guy.
Would you
Anyone that
accompany
can
back
make this
to
man
my-
more agreeable.
Would you
Yeah.
accompany me back to my my seat over here? Eric, bring these folks food and wine, please. And he heads back over.
Sure, I'll join him at the table.
Yeah,
For me,
thanks.
but I appreciate it.
I can't. I'm a dwarf. I can't pass up free booze.
I don't even think my character can digest booze. So I'm good, but thanks for the offer.
So you guys kind of come and crowd around this table and kind of take up seats with him over there. And he sits down, and a few minutes later, he's kind of eating his food, finishing it up, and a few minutes later, Eric brings over, he's got a couple of plates, and then he comes back out with some drinks, and after just a couple minutes, everybody's got some food. It's good stuff, a chicken leg, some veggies, some bread, some stuff like that on there. It's a pretty good plate for, this kind of, like, area. So you guys are kind of eating that. And after he gives a chance for you to eat, he's just kind of sitting there silently for a little bit. And then he goes, "May I ask, what brings you here?"
Something called the Death House.
The Death House, you say?
Yeah.
You came from the Death House?
Correct.
I see. That's most interesting. Most people don't come from the Death House. I meant, did you come from outside these lands? You don't look like residents of Barovia.
I make a motion of like him hitting the nail on the head.
Ah, I see. So
Pretty sure I'm
you are
from here, but I don't remember.
you are travelers, and now you are trapped here like the rest of us. I hate to inform you, once you come to Barovia, there is no leaving. The mists pervade everything, and those who wander into them never make it out. Their bodies dragged out sometime later by wolves and left on display for all of us to see. So I'm afraid you have no choice but to reside here, but I do have a proposition for you since you are here. You may be just what I'm looking for. Let me
Let's hear
introduce
it.
myself. I'm very sorry I haven't done so already. The name is Ismark Kolyanovich. My father, bless his soul, is or was burgomaster of this village, which makes me, I guess, burgomaster then. Many call me Ismark the Lesser, because my grandfather was Ismark the Greater, you see, and I'm Ismark the Lesser.
Kind of an insult.
That's not very nice.
I know, right?
It is seen that way. There's many who don't appreciate the work my father has done to keep this village going, despite the constant attacks by Strahd and his minions. But that is one of the titles they've given me, is Ismark the Lesser. My father, like I said, has recently passed away. His last wish was for his daughter to be safe away from the vampire devil of Strahd, who seems to have taken a liking to her. He has twice bitten her, not yet turned her, but a third time would prove to do so. I ask that you would honor my father's last wish, which was to have his daughter taken to Vallaki and to the Church of St. Andrel, where she might find protection from Strahd. If not there, then further on to the west, there is this abbey, Abbey of St. Markovia, where there's an abbot I've heard who has extraordinary powers of the Morning Lord and would be able to protect her. I would be willing to house you for the evening, so you would not have to stay here and cost you your hard-earned gold. I would also be willing to pay you as much as I can for this journey.
I'm not hearing a problem here, gentlemen. What do you think?
I must agree.
What exactly are you offering?
50 gold pieces each.
And ale, yes?
And ale, yes, of course. Of course.
I'll take that offer.
That sounds like a very nice offer.
We're headed in that direction anyways. Yeah.
Gotta go there anyway. Sounds pretty good to me.
Might as well bring someone else.
I can give you instructions on how to get there, and you can leave first light so that you may make it there or get as close as you can there before nightfall, and then make it there by midday the following morning. You would only need to spend one night out in the wilderness.
All right.
You couldn't perhaps provide steeds, could you?
Unfortunately, all of the horses within this village have been slaughtered.
That does make them difficult to ride.
Yes, it does. It does. It makes it harder for us to leave. It seems Strahd has already thought of this contingency that we might attempt to move Arena, although he may not have anticipated you. And you might be able to get her far away. I mean, his eye is set on her, but you are new to this land and could potentially get past him. Slip past his notice.
Hey, Fred.
Got a hypothetical question for you. Hypothetical question: if Strahd was to, would people be able to leave? Question mark.
If Strahd was to what? I'm sorry, cut out on you.
If Strahd, somehow, the D word.
Bit the dust.
Yeah. Hit the trail permanently. Hit the hay permanently. Would the lands of Barovia be open once more?
That's a good question. One that scholars of this land have pondered for centuries. But at this point, it's unsure that anything can kill Strahd. At least nothing that we know of.
Yet.
Strahd controls who comes and who goes from this place. He has controls over the mist, but from what I understand, he cannot escape this place. It is his own prison. But he does let in those who serve him. In fact, there are 3 of them right over there. And he kind of points over at the women on the side.
What do you mean by that?
You see the way that they dress. You can tell them. They are Vistani. The Vistani apparently made a pact with Strahd long ago that they would do his bidding at whatever he requested of them in exchange for free passage through the mists to the other realms.
Plot thickens.
Interesting.
Would anybody come here by choice, though?
Oh, they're free to leave, come and go by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
Period.
So what does he offer them beyond free passage to get them to actually come here?
do his bidding, whatever he asks for. He brings people here for his own pleasure and enjoyment, to hunt or kill or whatever they want. Whatever he wants from them, they provide.
See. What I mean to say is a payment in gold, or what, you know, how is he actually paying these Vestani?
I don't think they require gold. Vistani, they are travelers. They live off the land, and this land can be fruitful for those that Strahd lets the land benefit them.
I see.
So stay
as
away
they
from the
say,
sluts.
ancient. He is the land.
That sounds familiar.
I like your reasoning, Grimness.
Yes, wow, look at them. Harlots, all three. Anyway, I think we should take the most of this opportunity and retire. Get going first thing in the morning.
I'm all on board with that plan.
That sounds good to me.
What about you, old great feathery one?
Me?
Yes.
I mean, I'm up for whatever you guys are up for.
All right, well, sounds like it's settled then.
You see Stumbleduck over there just like nodding. I'll do whatever. Just give me some beer and wine.
I'm with him. No wine, though. That's for those wussy elves.
So racist.
He's 300. He's set in his ways. Leave him alone.
I'm not.
Fair enough.
Not fair enough, but fair enough.
At least he's not wearing a "Make Barovia Great Again" hat. Okay.
Make Barovia great again.
Yeah. That's what we came here to do.
So Ismark is like, well, excellent. Let me, if you're done eating, let's head back to my my mansion. I guess it's mine now since my father has passed away, unfortunately. And you shall meet my sister, and on the morrow you shall head out.
Sounds excellent.
Sister or daughter?
My sister. Not
Okay.
daughter.
Okay.
Just one more question. You wouldn't
Yes.
happen to know a doctor, would you? I have a bad case of can't remember shit.
Can't remember shit.
Yeah, I can't remember shit. Can't remember anything.
It's a legitimate ailment.
Yes, very much so, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we don't have any physicians here in this village. Those that we did have all been killed by Strahd.
Besides, you wouldn't find a
might
better
be
doctor
able
than
to
me
assist
anyway.
Alright, I'm good then.
Father Donovan, the priest, might be able to assist you.
Really? I'll go back to before I leave tomorrow.
I didn't
He
see any
is-
medical text in his office.
He is a faithful of the Morning Lord. The Morning Lord would surely grant you some sort of reprieve from your amnesia.
The Morning Lord's not doing his. I don't think the Morning Lord's been doing his job quite well recently, or at all. So I don't know about that one. But thanks.
I see, yes. Your faith is lacking, and of course it's well justified. The Night Mother
course.
and Strahd have
The
kept
sun
the
gone, there's
Morning
no
Lord
sun.
from us. His power seems
Hey.
to be at a bay.
Okay, I'm good then.
If you'll follow me, let's head back to my house.
Excellent.
Okay, so he leads you outside back into the main square.
He stabs you.
What could ever go wrong?
After kind of going over the bar and dropping a pouch of coins on the bar. And then he heads out the door back to the square here. From there, he's going to take you on a path over there. So, is it that way? Yeah, it's that way.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
If this is too much of a pain in the ass, just tell me and I'll shut up. But since I don't need to sleep or anything, while they're resting, can I just go to church and be like, hey, can you fix my memory? Yes, no, no, okay, or I'll leave then. Bye.
Yeah, you can do that.
I think we were kind of
Yeah.
hoping you'd keep an eye
quick
on
about
us.
it.
Well,
I'll be
yeah,
quick
that
about
that
it.
too. So
I gotta
as you,
watch them right. I forgot.
yeah, so as you guys are heading down the road towards a mansion off in the distance, you see pass by Bildreth's shop over here. It says Bildreth's Mercantile on the sign. Um, as you continue along, one of the small houses, as you pass by it, the door is open just a crack, and you can hear the sad weeping of a woman inside.
Hmm.
That's so common.
As we walk, I don't even look towards the door. I just yell, well, that's what you get for giving up children. I just assumed that they did it as well.
Oh, Ismark leans over and he says, "That is Mad Mary's house. Unfortunately, her daughter ran away, and she's been unable to bear it."
Well, at least she didn't. Are you sure she didn't give it away? That's how we got this one. I gestured to Lucian.
No, her daughter was much older than that one, 16 or 17 to be precise, somewhere around there. That is more than that creep Morgantha. That's older than she typically barters for.
Why would you run away here? There's literally nowhere better to go to.
Some say they saw her going toward the castle of Strahd, and if she went there, she's not going to come back.
Agreed. Probably.
I don't know. They said nobody comes out of the death house, and here we are.
Poor Gertrude. She is most likely lost to us. And you are fine adventurers, but I don't think she's coming out of that place.
Well, to be fair, if her name was Gertrude, she's probably happier dead.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so at the end of that, end of the road, you see a very weary-looking mansion squatting behind a rusty iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, while the left slings lazily in the wind. The stuttering squeal and the clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision. Weeds choke the grounds and press with menace upon the house itself. Yet against the walls, the growth has been tramped down to create a path about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish off the walls. Great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window. All the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with stains of an evil omen.
Getting a theme here on these buildings.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Yes, this is the burgomaster's home, or my home now. My father, he is inside, so he just passed away this previous night. We have yet to bury him.
Would you like me to ease his passing?
He's quite past. He's just we haven't been able to bury him.
Well, I would just be able to administer last rites, should you request.
That would be splendid. I'm sure my dear sister would be very thankful for that. And so he approaches the door and opens it. As he opens it, you see a woman in kind of like her own. She's kind of wearing kind of like armor, kind of a nice little family armor that she's wearing. And she opens the door. She's got a short little rapier sword with her, and she stares out at you. She's got this long, flowing red hair, and she stares out at each of you. Brother, who are these people? Why do you bring them to our home?
We're here to take you to. I'm blanking on the name of the abbey. What's that, sorry?
Valaki.
Yes. Valaki's refuge.
She kind of like scowls and then looks at her brother. Not this again. I've told you, I am not leaving until our father is buried.
Oh, we can assist.
Oh, we can do the digging.
Yeah, there's literally like 6 of us. 5 of us.
And I've come to administer his last rites.
Oh, are you some sort of clergy?
Yes.
Then come in. Why didn't you say so, brother? Why didn't you say you brought the clergy? And she backs up and lets you guys enter the house. Inside the house, the interior of the mansion is well furnished, yet the fixtures show signs of a great wear. Noticeable oddities are the boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room, all of them, of course, being more of the sun shape of the Morning Lord. The burgomaster is in a side drawing room on the floor, lying in a simple wooden coffin surrounded by wilting flowers and a faint odor of decay.
Can I ask what he passed away from?
Ismark kind of approaches his father and is looking down at him. Yes, a sad story, really, sad story. My father was determined to help Irina escape, and once he had found out that Strahd was coming to her at night and had bitten her twice, he boarded up all the windows and has kept her in his sight. Ever since then, Strahd has sent his minions, werewolves and the like, to torment us every night, howling and scratching at the walls. We would bring torches to try to scare them away, but most of it would end up slapping against the house as they knocked them from our hands, and that's such the scorch marks that you see. But yes, eventually his heart just couldn't take it anymore.
Did they ever, like, I know you said they scratched the walls. They're actually, like, trying to break in this house, correct?
I don't think they were trying to break in so much as just
Scare you?
scare us. Yes.
Okay.
You see, Strahd, he controls the vampire or the werewolf's movements, but he doesn't have total control over them. They are still free-minded, and I think that he fears that if they entered the house, that they might hurt his beloved, or who he says is his beloved, Irina. I've seen the note he left for her. He is deeply infatuated with her for some reason. But,
No, it takes more than a few mangy mutts to scare us off.
Well, she is very pretty, so I can understand why you would be infatuated with her.
Well, I mean, even without a beard, I guess she's all right.
She's like, she kind of glares at you. I may be pretty, but I'm also deadly, and she kind of whips her rapier around.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't say you weren't deadly, but okay.
Don't get any ideas, Mr. Who are you?
I'm a dead guy.
A dead guy? Well, that's what you'll be if you get too close to me.
Wow.
I'm literally already that guy, but okay.
Don't worry, I've hit him with holy water several times today. Still nothing.
But you have?
Shut up, dead guy. Anyway, let me administer last rites for your father.
All
right.
Why my neck is wet? Oh, man. I wonder what that was.
You approach the coffin, and of course the burgomaster's there. He's pretty recently dead, but still at the point where he's starting to smell a bit. The flowers are definitely wilting from being there for over a day. But yep.
And so, like, I check him over. Like, he's dead.
Yes, he is dead. Absolutely dead.
Okay, then I would like to legitimately administer last rites to make sure he doesn't come back as something.
Okay.
Ready, actually.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to get him in the ground as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So
Probably,
your
yeah.
last rites will take you about 5 minutes to do.
Okay.
Wow.
to do your
Like way longer.
full ritual last rites.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you have a
that's
longer
fine.
one. That I was just giving it 5 minutes. I was just guessing. You might have a
Uh,
much longer thing in mind. I don't know.
it would probably end up being a little longer than normal, just because if they're listening in, I'm gonna make it sound like I'm praying to the Morning Lord, not my deity,
Uh huh.
because I don't want them to be like, if they hear revered mother, we got a warning from Father Donnie there. So I would try to make it seem like I was praying to the Morning Lord. I imagine the words would be pretty similar. So
So while you're doing that, they're all kind of very. Arena comes up and is very reverent, standing next to it, and so is Mark, and they're just kind of waiting for you to finish, listening to your remarks and your talking about the dead, about the Morning Lord and stuff, and um, yeah, they're just very kind of kind of just listening peacefully while you do that. Stumbleduck is bored, and so he's just kind of leaning against the pillar over here. Um, yeah. So
as I finish it, I end it off with a, something like, may he walk with you eternally, and then I give both of them a very heartfelt hug, because I know what it's like to lose a parent.
yeah, so Arena looks very appreciative of that. Ismark's a little bit hesitant, but he eventually lets you hug him as well. And they both seem very appreciative of you being there to do the last rites. And Arena says, now all that's left is putting him in the ground and putting him to rest in his final resting spot at the cemetery with his family, with our family.
Yes. Let us proceed.
Just real quick. Irina, these werewolves that are trying to scare you, what time do they particularly arrive at? And is there a particular number of hours or minutes they do it before they leave, or do they just do it all night long?
It's a bit random, really.
Random. Okay.
Yes, like
I was just
they will stop, and it seems like you might be able to fall asleep, but then they'll start up again as if they know that you're on the verge of sleep,
Oh.
and
really trying to fuck with you. Okay, thank you.
the stress was just too much for Father.
Understandable.
All right, so you guys are carrying him down to the thing.
Yeah, I think we should get him there.
Yeah, before you
Yeah,
do it.
I'm under the impression we still have plenty of time before nighttime to do that.
Yes, it's about 2 to 3 in the afternoon now. So
Ah.
the sun is, you can kind of guess where it's at in the sky. It's kind of getting towards that, towards the horizon, but it's still got a couple hours before it gets there.
Now, are we going to be doing digging, or is this like another word, a mausoleum? Is that the word?
I just blow a hole in the ground and be done with it.
Yeah, it's a mausoleum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't have stuff like that.
Oh, good, because I didn't bring my holy shovel.
Oh, what?
I like the pun. Love it.
All right. So you guys make your march back to the other side of town, crossing back over. Slow kind of march through town, solemn marching. You do see some eyes peeking out as you carry the cask over your heads, on your shoulders towards the church. Eventually making your way back to the church and around the side and into the graveyard. And they come to one of the mausoleum, and they kind of, it's more less of a mausoleum but more of like a sarcophagus thing where you can just push out the top and then put them in there. There's plenty of them here as well. That also, she kind of brings you up to one that's already kind of got Indirovich last name on the back written on it, and she says, "This is Father's place that we had prepared for him some years ago, not knowing how long he'd be with us." And any thoughts or want to say anything else before he gets put in?
I look at his two children and say, any last words?
So you guys lay him to rest inside of it. The wooden casket kind of fits nicely into the open the crypt there, and she's kind of bends over him, does some like last minute kind of whispering to him and kissing on the forehead, and then you guys push the stone back on top of it, and she lays some flowers that she picks from a nearby little flower patch and puts it on top in a nice little arrangement on top. And then she says, "Okay, let's head back to the home. No need to stay out here." And she looks up at the castle in kind of like spite and anger, especially in the sight of that. And then she starts heading back.
As everyone's filtering out of the graveyard, can I go ahead and like leave a blessing on the tomb itself, like on the lid?
Yeah.
Kind of like the same thing I did in the church, you know. Nat 20.
Nice.
22 total. That's one hell of a blessing.
Nice. Yep. So yeah, the whole thing is blessed.
Cool.
So anything that tries to open that's undead is gonna have a hard time. All right.
Just trying to cover our asses.
I think that's good. That's great.
You make your way back. The whole expedition kind of takes about 30 minutes or so to get there and back. The nice little quiet march there, and then kind of a hurried step back to the place. Along the way, Arena kind of turns to you guys and says, "What's with the kid? Do you guys have a kid? Why is there a kid? He looks familiar."
He's just a hairless dwarf. And I smile real big so she knows that I'm joking.
"Ah, yes. I'm sorry, I don't know what a dwarf is. Is that what you are? I've been meaning to ask."
What? You've never seen a dwarf?
"I'm afraid not, no. We don't have any... I've read about other races, but we don't have them here in Barovia, at least not often. Periodically they'll stumble through the mists and enter Barovia, but they're not here long. They attempt to go to the castle or something else, and they end up dead, typically, or I've seen a few of them wander into the death house and never come back."
So we visited the death house.
"You did?"
And came back.
Yes, well, we returned from there this afternoon.
Oh, I can't believe
Up
that.
from there.
That's amazing. Brother, did you know this? And he kind of like nods. That is amazing. But
You're in good hands for the journey.
Again, what's with the kid, though? Did the kid go into the death house with you?
No, we found him in there.
Came out of the death house with us, not in them.
And then we took him back to his mother, who proceeded to sell him for a cake or a tart or something.
You see a look of acknowledgement on her face. Oh, okay. Yes, that makes sense.
We decided he was better off with us.
The people. I have told my brother we need to hunt down this Morgantha and get rid of her. And he shakes his head. "You know, dear sister, I've tried this. We have tried following her. We've tried hunting her down. We cannot find where she goes. One minute we think we have her, and the next she disappears. I don't understand it."
Well, I could offer you a fairly simple solution.
What
I
is
want to
that?
hear this.
I bought a pastry from her this afternoon. I could wait at the house where she sold it to me before and pretend to be influenced and hit her in the face with my hammer.
That's simple, you're right.
As much, and Irina kind of comes over to you and kind of like she's got a big towel because you kind of shown her the pastry. She has a big like towel or kind of cloth, and she kind of puts it over the pastry and kind of tucks it in and says, as much as I think that you would be sincere in that, I think that you would be too tempted by this. I've seen people who don't even want this that get tempted by it just by holding and gazing at it. It's best to keep it hidden out of your sight.
Honey, it's not made out of meat or mead. I have no interest in it.
As
I thought it was
many have
misty.
said that.
Yes, but it's. Aren't we pretty sure it's babies?
That's the working hypothesis.
Yeah.
That theory has no evidence. Anyway.
I don't eat
Babies?
children.
What do you mean it's made out of babies? She looks at her brother.
Again,
He just
I look at
shrugs.
dead guy.
Okay, look. This is a theory I had. There's no evidence, but children go there, never seen anymore, and then there's these treats. It's just a theory I had. I have no evidence for it
That's
yet.
horrible.
Well, this whole place is horrible. What do you want from me?
This is our home. Don't say such things. I know that it's not at the best right now, but this is all we've ever known. This is our home. But that is horrible what you say. If that's the truth, they should be destroyed, whoever is doing this.
I entirely agree. They should be destroyed.
I heavily thunk my warhammer against the floor a couple of times, just like hammer.
Hey, bring this up. Why am I in trouble and getting yelled at? I'm gonna bring this conversation up. They did. Like, yell at them. For fuck's sakes.
I will make sure Ismark, while I'm gone, redoubles his efforts to catch this Morgantha and make her pay for these crimes. If she has been cutting up and eating the young boys, or making us eat the young boys.
Theoretically.
Perhaps once we've brought you to safety, we can always come back and lend a hand in that endeavor.
Yes, we could definitely lend a hammer.
Ismark definitely approves of that. I would be very, very It would be very great if you could help me capture this Morgantha.
Well, you just wait, Ismark. By the time we're done here, you're gonna slide back up that scale to greater.
That would be great if I could once again meet the status of my grandfather. Yes.
But right now, I need a drink and a meal and preferably a nice goose down pillow.
Yes. Where are my manners? Yes, absolutely. And so he goes off and, sister, would you help me with this? I apologize. We'll have to make this ourselves. We have no more servants. They kindly quit on us. Being.
If you need to, feel free to use that guy.
I was thinking the same thing, but the fact that you said and I didn't, kind of like a fuck you moment. Like, yeah, I agree, but fuck you at the same time.
So they head over to the kitchen area and start preparing some food for you guys. Almost everything is coated in those holy symbols, though. They're like holy symbols on the tables, on the walls, everything. And like it's just like a big open area where they just got tons of these holy symbols everywhere. There's definitely stairs and stuff that go upstairs, but they go over and start preparing some food. And they bring over drinks and stuff, and you guys kind of relax. Ismark starts a fire, and you guys can sit and relax in front of the fire. As you guys are eating and stuff, it does eventually get dark as 6 and 7 o'clock kind of rolls around, and it starts to get dark outside. And Ismark starts, as he sees the sun start to go down, he says, "It will start soon. Most likely, Strahd will send his beasts to attack and to just irritate us and keep us awake."
How many beasts does he usually send? Do you know?
I've never got out a chance to count, but there are 4 or 5 at least.
How would you like us to help? What can we do?
We will retire shortly up into the second floor, and that way we'll have some reprieve from the sounds that they'll make. And one of us will have to make sure that we stay awake on guard duty to ensure that Strahd does not use his powers to tempt Arena outside, that he could finish what he has started.
I wonder who that's going to be.
Why, thanks for offering.
Pretty much, yeah. You're welcome.
So, so you guys, whenever you're ready to head up, you guys can head up to the second floor to turn in for the night.
Before I do that, I would like to bless the doors and the windows if possible.
Just bless the entire house.
Blessing, listen, man. My priest is very limited. This is what I've got, okay?
We're going to need it in this land.
I bet your priest is that kind of guy that would have a little placard that says "Bless this house," isn't he?
Oh yeah.
So
He's also
Ismark
the kind of
sees you-
a-hole that blesses his golf clubs, you know.
Ismark sees you doing that, and he says, as much as that is appreciated, and you can definitely do that, vampires can't come in unless we invite them in, and he has never once wanted to come in. He always calls Arena out to him when he calls her out. The only ones that can get in would be the werewolves, and they're not going to be stopped by your blessing.
Time for the hammer.
All right, well, so I guess there's not much else we can do then.
We can just hope that he just uses them to irritate us or to scare us and not try to break in. But we will be on the second floor, in Arena's room on the second floor.
That's where we'll all be staying.
Do you have any silver?
It's better if we all stay in one room and not split up.
Fair enough. Sorry, you're asking, Grimness?
Yes. So I do have a good basic understanding of lycanthropy. And does your house contain any silver?
Yes, and he runs off to the kitchen and he comes back with some forks and knives, some cutting knives and stuff like that. Yes, here they go.
Fireworks too, right?
Yeah. How many knives does he have?
He's got about 10 knives.
All right. I would pass them
they're
out.
not super sharp, but yeah.
Yeah. They don't have to be sharp. They just need to, exist.
Needs to be somewhat pointy.
Yeah, I will pass a knife out to each member of the party, and then, to them as well. Okay, keep this with you. It's not going to be the best deterrent, but lycanthropes and silver don't mix.
Is there a spoon? Because I'm just thinking, I've got shillelagh.
Oh yeah, he's got spoons.
I'm going to have a spoon handy just in case, so I can shillelagh it if need be.
Alright,
Well,
so he gives you the spoon.
Hold on, if it's silver, you're a druid. Are you allowed to use that as a weapon?
Oh, I think you are correct. I think you are correct.
Yeah.
I don't think
Good
you can
catch.
shillelagh that, unfortunately.
Okay. My bad.
It was a good thought.
Okay. That just means that, if we're all getting chased by werewolves, we're tripping you.
Good to know. I'll store that one in the bank.
You can shout him, I'll scoop your eye out.
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys, after a little bit of kind of figuring out a strategy, if they were to come in, you guys head up to the second floor, up to Arena's room. Actually, it's the third floor. Sorry. So Arena lays in her bed while the rest of you kind of make little spots on the rug or other places, kind of find some place sitting in a chair or other stuff to kind of make yourself comfortable while you rest.
Is there a window? Like, where are the windows in this room? Is there one over the front door we came in?
Yeah, so it's not technically on here, but there would be a window right here looking out over the house.
All right. I would position myself nearest that window so I can keep an eye on what goes on outside.
Okay. So, Ismark has requested that you guys kind of, keep an eye out. Someone has to be on duty, kind of like guard duty all night. You've got about 12 hours till the sunrise, or 11 hours till the sunrise.
Dead guy, you don't have to sleep, right?
No, I think I need to take a nap or something. No, I don't have to sleep.
All right. Well, then guess who's on guard duty?
Oh, wow. I never would have imagined.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No, did not, actually. From a mile away.
Okay, yeah. So, you do have to spend a little bit of time preparing your spells and memorizing your spells and stuff. But that's all. You can do that in the first thing in the morning. So.
Well, sorcerer didn't prepare spells.
Well, it's. No, that's if you're. Oh, wait. There is something on there. Remember right. I think there was something that sorcerers have to do this morning. I might be wrong. You might be right. I think it's one of the only classes that doesn't require you to do that.
Yeah, I just remember you telling me that I think it was 2 sessions ago, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Because you don't. Yeah, because you can't change your spells. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, beating a sorcerer is great.
Yep.
Sorcerer's one of my favorite classes.
I see why.
I actually just rolled a new one for a new game.
I love getting just one spell every level up. It's fantastic. Okay, good night.
Yep, you don't have to do any of that. Okay, great.
I agree.
All right.
Right, so we're bunking down.
So, the first couple of hours, you guys actually don't hear anything, and you guys actually fall asleep. You have kind of interesting dreams, not quite nightmares, but not quite good dreams. Dead guy, you're just kind of looking around the room and kind of looking out the window periodically, just staring out there. At about midnight, though, you see something very, very odd. You see a kind of a light kind of coming from over in the cemetery area, from the graveyard. From this light emerges a ghostly procession, wavering images of dowdy women toting great swords, wood-wise men with slender bows, dwarves with glittering axes, and archaically dressed mages with beards and strange pointed hats. All these and more march from the graveyard, their numbers growing by the second, and they're just marching down this main street here. They start marching down from this path down the main street, and then they turn. You can kind of still see them from the houses. You can kind of see their ghostly images as they come around and start heading down this main path away from the village. You can kind of from your window over here, you can see them proceeding, just this long line of ghostly figures with weapons and everything out, as though they're marching towards war, heading that direction. And they head off to the southwest down this road, and there you kind of move from that main window to the window and kind of watch their procession as they continue moving on. And eventually you can't see them anymore, but they've headed to the southwest. After about an hour, you lose sight of them off in the distance.
Oh, interesting.
And then after that, there's nothing going on for about another hour or so. You're kind of bored again. You're like, wow, that was interesting. And then you're kind of bored again, kind of like, trying to keep yourself sane while you're standing there, trying to contemplate different things. But then you kind of look out the window and you see a lone figure walking up towards the house, down the main street towards the house. And the figure is kind of cloaked in darkness. Even with some of the lights that's streaming in from the moon that's kind of shining through the clouds, you still can't really make out his features. Although this person is humanoid, you can definitely tell he's a humanoid. Is wearing what looks like kind of like regal clothes, and he walks up to the gate, the remaining gate that's not quite off the hinges, and he puts out a hand on it and he kind of plays with it a little bit, and then he takes his hand away and he looks up to your window like he's staring directly at you, but you can't make out his face. You can see a little gleam of light from where his eyes are supposed to be at, but you can't quite make anything else out. But you can hear a small whisper that you really shouldn't be able to hear. Arena, come to me, Arena. You look over and you see Arena start to slowly rise up out of the bed, like sit up. You can see her eyes are open, but she's got a very look far away from her. She's kind of just staring straight at the wall ahead of her, and she starts to get up out of bed.
I gotta stop her. Shit.
You gonna run over and try to stop her?
Yeah.
Okay, so you run over and kind of grab hold of her, and she doesn't even act like she's aware that you're holding her. She continues to try to move, but she's not going anywhere. And you can just see that she's staring at the staircase, wanting to move towards the staircase, and she's pulling more and more as that voice continues. Arena,
She
come to me.
She conscious?
No, she's her eyes are open, but she doesn't seem to be conscious.
Okay.
If she
She's
continues
not
to
that
pull
strong,
any more,
right?
she's not that strong. But the more she pulls, it was like, and the more that voice speaks, she's getting stronger and pulling harder and harder.
Okay. Guys, everybody, wake up right now. Need help. Vampire person's trying to get Arena outside the house. Need help. Wake up. Come on.
Stumbleduck wakes up and runs over and kind of puts himself in front of her, pushing, like kind of grabbing hold of her hips and trying to keep her back away from that. And she's struggling still. And the voice, though, has stopped. You can't hear the voice anymore.
I was going to say, I didn't wake up to that. I'm used to sleeping in a cave with 300 loud dwarves. It's going to take more than a vampire whisper to wake me up.
No, he just yelled.
Yeah, I might have worked.
Just say it worked.
Okay. So you run over to, kind of inspecting her, and you can see that she's in some sort of trance. Ismark is also over there, kind of like, wake her up! Can you not wake her up?
I want to splash her face with my holy water.
Who saw that coming?
All right, so you splash her face. You splash her face, and then her eyes come back. What happened? Why am I wet? Why?
I have that effect on women. You were trying to leave, so we woke you up.
What? I remembered I was having a dream. My father was outside, calling to me.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not your father.
Well, thanks. I need to lay back down. My head is killing me. So
Yes,
she
of course.
lays back
Well,
down.
Lay down, please.
When you return, dead guy, you kind of go back over to see if you can see that the figure is now gone.
Naturally.
Ismark comes over and is looking out the window, and he lays a hand on your shoulder. Thank you for that. That could have been very, very bad if you hadn't noticed.
Yes, of course. You were quite welcome.
I lay back down to go back to sleep directly where she would have to step if she were to get out of bed again.
Smart.
So you just lay down on the floor right there.
Yep, grab my blanket. You know, I'm used to sleeping in the rectory. We didn't have beds. We had stone blocks, and it was uphill both ways in the winter.
And we liked it, damn it. Alright. Yeah, so you guys lay back down, she lays back down, and you guys go back to sleep. And for the rest of the night, you don't even hear the werewolves or anything. Nothing. It's just very calm and nice. Nothing seems to happen else from there.
That's good. I needed my spell slots back.
Yeah. So, aside from being jolted awake by that, the rest of the night seems to pass just fine, and you wake up the next morning. Dead guy wakes you all up as soon as the sun starts to rise, because you have a long trip ahead of you.
Yeah.
Ismark says, I will make you all breakfast, and then you should probably start heading out. The sun sets before you know it.
See the damn sun. Oh, can I head to the church real quick? I just don't need to eat.
Yeah, so you let them
I'll
go
make it
have
quick, I
breakfast, and you run to the church. Okay, head out toward the church.
Sorry.
Alright, so you make your way back over the church. What are you doing there?
I would like to enter the church and find... What's the guy's name again? I forget.
Father Donovan.
Donovan, yeah. Trying to find him.
So just as you kind of enter, he comes out of this room here, which is most likely his bedroom, and he comes out. Oh, what can I do for you?
Ah, yes, good to see you again. Two things. Number one, kind of got a bad case of can't remember shit. Just wondering if is there anything you can do about that at all?
Well, I can pray to the Morning Lord for you.
Okay, is there anything useful you can do?
I
love it.
suppose if that's not useful for you, then...
Not really.
No.
He's not doing his job at all.
No.
Okay, and thing number two. How's your son doing? Okay?
He's fine. He's calmed down, or at least he hasn't been... He might be sleeping, though. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him in a little while.
Can I check on him? If you don't mind, that is.
Sure. What do you mean by checking on him?
Just take a quick peek to see if he's sleeping or not sleeping.
Don't go down there. Don't.
I'm not gonna go down there, but I'm just gonna take just like a hole somewhere I can look for, right? To see how he's doing. I mean, that's how you feed him, right? Just,
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Do you mind if I take a quick bio break, sir?
Yeah. Actually, we were just about to wrap up here in a minute. If you don't,
Oh.
if you got a couple minutes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. So, yes, I don't really feed him through a hole or anything, but there is a hole in the floor, and he points to the office over there. That you can peek down in there, but I don't know if you can see him. There's a big basement.
I'll just go ahead and give it a try, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So you head into that room, and you see the hole kind of like in the middle of the floor. It's big enough, like it's about $50 size hole. Kind of in between the...
Right.
Yep, go ahead.
No, sorry, I interrupted you. I just let you finish where I asked. That's my bad.
Yeah, it's kind of a $50 hole where it's kind of where the crack is. So part of the hole is on one side of the crack, and the part of the other half is on the other side of the crack. So you can kind of see down in there.
I don't see him, right?
You don't see him, no. It's awfully dark in there, though. He could be literally right down below you, but you wouldn't be able to see him. It's too dark.
Can I call him? Like, hey, you good down there?
You don't hear anything. And then just as you're about to walk away, you hear, "Come closer."
Oh, okay, good. You're alive. I'll see you later. Bye.
No, don't go. Don't
I
go.
just wanted to make sure you're alive. Well, whatever state you're in. I'll be back in however long it takes to cure you. I have no idea. Anyway, good seeing you again. Bye. I go back to the
Don't
house.
go. I'm so hungry.
Hey, I eat a biscuit. I don't know. A pastry.
You eat a biscuit.
Fair enough.
All right. So you run out the door, okay? After saying goodbye to Father Donovan's like, he can hear his son screaming, and he kind of stomps the floor. Quiet, Doru, quiet. And you run back.
That was worth it.
All right. And about that time, they're finishing up breakfast. And at that point, you guys are.
And there are no biscuits left.
There are no biscuits.
Yeah.
No. At that point, you guys are ready to head out. So, Arena is all packed and ready to go, and everybody else seems ready to head out. And we will finish that heading out into the wilds of Barovia next time.
Dun dun dun.
Cue dramatic music.